what's his name again?
James Islington?
Islington.
James. James put out a new
W-
cover for this book, by the way. There
Oh, he did?
everywhere, yes, everywhere that I looked, it's that blue one with the pillars, right?
Hmm.
Um, and now it is it looks like what's it called? The trans something or other, the plane, the big ass plane.
The
Fuck, it's been
transgender plane?
yeah, it's the transgender plane. I forgot what it's called, transvector or something. It's been a month. It's been a month. But it's the plane that they jump out of and they ride around in a
Oh,
lot.
shit. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of the tea.
I
Um,
imagined those as like, let me tell you how
mhm.
I imagined those. This is totally, absolutely wrong, but I kind of imagined them as like slightly organic,
Ooh.
like kind of like a reef back from Subnautica, but like smoother and minimalist. But like especially the part where he's like, I gotta cling to the bottom. By the way, spoilers.
Spoilers.
This is a really spoiler heavy.
It's like
Anyways,
there's no way to talk about it without getting spoilers.
absolutely not. No. I'm glad you didn't,
I
honestly.
don't know what to say. He's a prince. He's a prince. That's all. That's the whole review.
You just said read it and I said okay. Um I enjoyed reading it. I enjoyed
Good.
reading it. It was a little long,
Yeah.
so it took me a bit to finish, but that's okay. We were talking about this for a second ago, but the Mary Sue-ness of him, uh, it didn't really bother me, but I'm interested to know what he thinks his like audience is
Hmm.
because it kind of went back and forth to me of like this is a YA and this is like absolutely for adults, like
Yeah.
especially for some of the gorier moments. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my god. But I don't really know, maybe young adult. But
Warriors got gory sometimes. It might
yeah.
be YA, but it's always shelved under sci-fi fantasy,
Yeah.
which I think is
I
fair.
don't know. Yeah,
Um,
I think it's like something in between YA and adult.
and I think that's fine. I think is it's kind of refreshing. It's kind of refreshing in the way where sometimes I'll go back and I'll like watch an episode of something I liked when I was in high school. You
Mhm.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
I I'm
Yes.
not mad at that.
Yeah. I kind of liked the Mary Sue-ness. Um
It's fun.
I
I
got
want him to do a
confused.
sword fight. I want him to do a sword fight. I want him to like clear the
I want him to
labyrinth.
do all the cool shit.
Yeah.
I am also very excited for the second book because like
Yes.
mystery,
Woo.
ooh, mysteries, got to figure stuff out. And I have put a couple of more books on your list on our Goodreads
Mm,
based on how I feel about this book. So I
okay.
put The Invisible Library by Genevieve Cogman, and I put Jade City
Ooh,
by, I forgot the author's name,
I
and
can
then
read
The
it for
Sunbearer
you.
Trials, which I don't know if you read, but it was on your list a while ago and I read it.
I
It was
never
pretty
got
good.
around to it. Um,
It's like it's YA, but it's pretty
it
good.
to me it sounded Percy Jackson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, let me think about it.
Um,
One of those series kind of pissed me off. Uh, Jade City pissed me off a little bit because it was like the main characters are the people in power,
oh,
but they're also pretty corrupt and like most of the characters are not very likable, but it was a very interesting story.
I need to
um
tell you,
yes.
Cass purchased the Jade City when we were book hunting for their book.
Shit.
which
Really?
I don't know how we found their book. It was published in 2007. It's like book 2 out of a series of 6. And
Jade City?
no. They're the other one that they
Oh.
were looking for. And
Oh.
we found it nowhere aside from one like tiny local bookshop owned by one woman that was like there. And we said, "Do we have this?" And she said, "Yes, it's right there." And she only had like 50 books in the store. I don't know how they lucked out.
Yeah,
But they picked up the
that's
Jade City.
crazy.
Um, I don't know very much about it. I know that it has good reviews, but that is interesting. That it's like a crime family.
No, not like a crime family, like a government family, but the
Ah,
government is really corrupt.
hmm.
So I don't know. It just kind of pissed me off a little bit, especially when one of the characters would be like, we're corrupt,
Yeah.
but this just shouldn't be the way that it is." And then they keep doing it. And I'm like,
Okay. Yeah.
I don't
Well,
know. That and like you can very clearly see the power imbalances in it, and most of the characters don't really recognize like they just
mm,
are straight up the rich privileged people and they don't do anything about it. It's I don't know. It wasn't my favorite.
you know what I will say?
But it wasn't like this book where it's like, oh, fun, rich privileged going to
Mhm.
academy and learning stuff and they got to solve mysteries. Is like government with magic. I don't know. It was pretty good. I think Cass will like it.
Yeah.
Um, but it wasn't my favorite.
Um, on that note, for Will of
Yes.
the Many,
Yes.
um,
Get back
they
to the review.
James is trying very hard to convince us that monarchs are good, actually. And I don't know about
Yeah.
how. What? Oh fuck! What was the name? Solga? Solvega?
Seuss?
Seuss. Seuss. Yes.
That's such a stupid name. Oh, that's another thing. I
The
got
island of
confused with the names a lot.
the island of
Like,
Seuss in the Sea of Koos. You didn't fuck with that?
well, also, I mean, it might have been my fault because I listened to the audiobook and I listened to it fast.
mm,
So it might partially be on me, but like, especially a couple of the girl characters, I was just like, wait, who are we talking about? Wait, I thought we were talking about this other girl.
Lenistia.
Yeah, and some of them like started with an I or something.
Mm. Oh,
But
there's like Inko and then a different one.
yeah, there's like three girl characters that I kept getting confused between. Two of them or three of them are classmates, and then the fourth one, the blind
Yeah,
teacher lady, I like her. She's cool.
love her.
And I'm intrigued by the very end
Ooh.
of where it's like, ooh, actually, you're a duplicate now, and there's
Mm-hmm.
people on two sides, and
Three.
oh, three sides?
3 sides. I'm assuming you got all 3 endings.
Ah, maybe I wasn't paying attention.
Well, they did the last 2 like back to back. So,
Mm-mm.
yeah.
Oh, maybe I just was stupid.
It probably wasn't
Mm,
super clear in audiobook form, but in physical
no.
form they were very much separated out.
Yeah, did get confused a little bit. I was like, wait, are they just saying the
Me
same thing
too.
again?
I
I was like,
finished
wait,
it
what?
and then I was like, fuck. And then I saw synchronism and it started again. And I can't describe to you the like shock and awe
You're like,
and like,
huh?
huh?
What? I mean,
There's
that's
more?
probably slightly on purpose, but it was still like, what the fuck is going on right now?
It it was literally like a bunch of stuff clicked. Not like immediately, but
Mm,
like the purpose of a lot of things in the story to me. I was like, I actually need to go back and I need to write about this and put all my thoughts in one place
mm,
because I am convinced like obviously there will be new things in the sequel, right? But I'm convinced that the vast majority of the puzzle pieces we need for the overarching
mm.
story of the series are here, they are present. And if
Yeah.
you can read the like Greek inspired words, then you could get there.
Ugh.
Hmm.
Awesome. So refresh my memory, because I
Hmm.
remember an ending where he makes it back. He carries his dead friend,
Hmm.
and he's like, okay, I'm in charge now. And then I remember the one where he's like on another reality and has to get a message across to his other self.
Hmm.
What's the third one?
Okay, so yes, he carries Calidus back, which I have thoughts about Calidus. We'll get to that.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
and then I have the physical book with me here. So the next one
Oh, thank goodness.
is, yeah, Google Translate it says one more synchronism. And that one is where I think we meet Solcior. No, that one is Lucium. So that one is he meets the two or like a couple people out in the field or something. No, the
Mm-hmm.
vast rotunda surrounded by columns. So he is transported and then he's kind of just like in this Greeky looking place. There's these people that run up to him and they say,
Mm.
please, please stay in that like ancient language that everything else has been written in.
Mm-hmm.
And they say, the other from your world will be coming. Um, and then
Oh,
that's ending
so I
chapter
see where I
2.
got confused because I did hear that part.
Yeah.
I just thought that that was also part of the one that had the dead uncle or dead brother.
Yeah. So the formatting in the book is that happens, there's a page break, and then there's like a symbol at the top of the next page, and it starts like it looks visually different. So this is ending
Cool.
3 is Obitium with a Solcior.
Obitium, Lucium, and then his regular
Res.
place.
It
And
has a
what?
name. Res. R-E-S.
Res.
I think. I'll have to check my notes, but I think that's the one.
Res for Resler.
The
Regular.
Resler.
The Reseler.
The Resler.
Hmm.
I'm just scrolling through it. Yes, Lucium, Obitium, and Res.
Cool. Oh, I'm so excited. It also makes me want to make you read um the Wayward Children series
Mm.
because that gets in it deals with alternate dimensions and doors, and it's
Ooh.
also kind of a school. Um and there's a lot of books, and the author keeps releasing a book every year. So
Oh my gosh.
it's it's quite nice, and the books aren't too long. I think they're like 4 hours each.
Mm.
Um, but I think that you would really like that series. Just based off of reading this book and knowing that you like it has really made recommending books for you a lot easier.
I know.
Which it always does, like knowing what somebody likes, but
Yeah.
okay, I want to hear more of what you're thinking.
Okay. I'm gonna start going down my notes.
Yeah, give me
Um,
your notes.
I start out
I
with
missed class.
ugh. Um, I started out with some criticisms. Uh, the Mary Sue thing.
Yeah,
But we talked about that. Like that's fine.
but we love it.
We love it. I said the book can potentially have too much going on because it feels like at times every single person is acting in their own best interest. Because I
Mm.
do feel like that consistent characterization is like a demonstration of greed in the hierarchy. And
Mm.
even in the Anguilles, they are sacrificing their men for their wants. uh
Yeah,
as like Reclusia kind of shrugs off of Viz's argument of that, where he says like you'll just rebuild something similar with your people in power, and she fucking shrugs.
she's like,
And
yep.
they probably will. She's like, yep. And they use the fact that Octavi served the hierarchy as a reason for their punishment. So I feel like individual greed and personal interests as like a potential criticism of the book, I don't like to do that because I feel like it's kind of in line with the book's
Yeah, it's
criticism
a little
of,
bit the point.
yeah. Um, I did say, however, in 650 pages, which was the library copy, there can be too much shit. Um, I kind of wish we had some more moments to bond with the characters instead of skipping straight
Yeah.
to action. I loved the action, don't get me wrong, but I needed to like connect to them a little bit. Like the
Oh,
side
for sure.
characters.
Yeah, the side characters, but I think even to an extent, like the main character,
Yeah.
I don't know that I feel all that emotionally connected with him.
I don't
Cause
either.
like,
Yeah, he's kind of a Tom
cause
Cruise
like
to me.
we're kind of just told everything about him and not shown much about him.
Hmm.
And that's not like the entire case, obviously. Some of it is shown. It is a good piece of writing,
Yeah,
but it could be better.
yeah. He just needed to slow down sometimes.
Yeah,
Um,
which is
I
funny because it was too long.
yeah, a lot of shit. This could be easily 2 books. Um,
Yeah. I think if it had been 2 books of, like, 8 hours each, even that, maybe, like, even a 12-hour book.
yeah.
I don't know. That's about how long the book would be, but I agree with you. I think he could have gone into a little bit more of the emotional side of
Hmm.
things.
Um, with that, I didn't care for Amissa. Sorry. Um, I and this is I'm
And
starting.
Anissa is
Amissa is his little girlfriend.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
This is where I start to get into my
Uh,
headcanons.
Oh,
Um,
shit. Wait, yeah. I agree with you. I thought the thing with Anissa kinda came out of nowhere.
yep.
So much so that I actually genuinely forgot until just now that they were, like, a thing.
Yeah, they're a thing. They were.
And that's what I mean is, like, there's Anissa, there's Belly, there's, um, his, like, friend, who I forgot her name, and
Mm,
then there's the girl that he beats at chess, and all of those
that's
characters were
that's
so
Belly
hard.
again.
That's
He
Belly again?
that's
No.
yeah, he beats Belly at chess. Um,
No, 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 not chess, the, like, really
the game they
what?
play to get Calidus documents back. That's Belly.
Was that Belly? I
That
thought
was
her name was,
Belly.
like, Iroquois or something.
No, that was Belly. She was a bad guy. She stole Calidus shit. I'll get into that, actually.
Okay, continue, yes. And then yeah.
My headcanon is that
He's gay.
he's gay! I felt a much stronger connection between Calidus and Viz. And I wrote specifically connection in all caps because just plain attraction isn't all there is for a relationship. And I know they're
Yeah.
17 and like he's being straight and all. But like aside from their initial interaction in the stables where they kind of like banter and we don't really get to
Mhm.
like see them or feel them be together. There's a lot of Viz, like you said, there's a lot of Viz telling us about it, but and like maybe we
He's
see
like,
some.
"I love her, and then when I look at her, I smile." And it's like, "Okay, bitch.
um,
Bitch, what?"
and I wrote down maybe we see a little bit of flirting, like post Lagoon potential tragedy cliff dive. Shout out Viz, thank you. Um, I didn't feel bonded to her or super endeared to her as a reader. They
Yeah.
She feels like so nice in that I just kind of like wrote her off as a narrative
Yeah.
entirely. I did feel a little
Honestly,
stupid.
when she went to the lagoon, I thought she was, like, trying to kill herself because she was, like,
Oh,
saying, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry." And I was
um,
like, "Oh."
oh,
But then she wasn't. And so I was like, "What the fuck is the point?"
yeah. I felt like I should have seen her betrayal coming or whatever
Yeah.
happened because she was just so perfect. But
Mm.
like whether that was a plot device decision or a whatever, I don't even know. Um,
Yeah.
I was just so disappointed that Viz had a little girlfriend written in for him, and it's just like I didn't feel connected to her. I didn't feel connected to their relationship. I didn't care. It felt like a fucking Mel Brooks movie where he writes himself a girlfriend. It's like
Yeah.
I don't
That's so
care.
true. That's
Um,
so true.
yeah. Moving on to my
Um,
go on.
yes. I like the polycule Viz and his two boyfriends,
Yeah.
but they're platonic and they just love fighting and shit. They love learning.
Him and Calidus are gay. They're gay
Yeah.
together.
I like Aiden. Ivan.
Aiden with the E.
Aiden?
I don't know. I was pronouncing them some way in my head when I was reading them. You
I
listen to it.
know.
You're probably right.
I thought his name was like Ivan the way that they pronounced it.
um,
Next on your list.
my praise. Uh,
Yay.
Viz is so 17 years old. His
So
overconfidence in his
true.
abilities is so fun to read and very me when I was 17. And I like that he's right a lot of the time, but also that sometimes he says like, I could scale this wall, and then he falls immediately. Because
Oh my god, wait. I remember a couple of those scenes, and I remember genuinely, like, while I'm shelving books, because I listen to them while I shelve books,
Mhm.
while I'm shelving, just going, ha! It's so funny.
That's
Like,
really
that,
good.
I feel like, is a good example of showing, because our narrator is telling us, like, oh, I'm the best. But then he fails.
Yeah,
And so he's a little bit of an unreliable narrator in that way.
that's what I
Um,
thought.
but I like it, and I wish there was a little bit more of that,
Yeah,
not just for comedy moments.
yeah, I agree. Um, I wrote down that those are his thoughts. He's not a perfect narrator, and that it leads to a
Mm-hmm.
lot of doubt in the reader of his analysis of other people. And I think that that
Mm.
was intentional because
Yeah.
Viz can read people very well, yes. But there's one section where I wrote down Indel question mark. I don't even remember who that is.
Mm-hmm.
Indel says that Viz's reaction to coming to Seuss wasn't very well hidden, but Viz thought that he was playing it perfectly. He literally was like, "Ah, if any of them were to pay even the slightest attention to me, maybe they'd see the crack in my armor. But I'm
Indol was
fortunate that
the
they aren't."
son of the leader, uh,
Yeah.
the like leader of Seuss, and also somebody he had a secret that somebody told Viz about, and
Yes.
he didn't know that his secret got told, that he was gonna
Yeah.
join religion.
He had a crush
Oh.
on Amissa and told her that he was going to join religion, but Amissa didn't like him back, and she
But
squealed to
wait,
Viz.
later in the book he said like, "Wait, how did you know that?" Cuz uh Viz was talking to Indal about it,
Mm-hmm.
and he goes like, "Wait, how did you know that?" And he goes, Anissa told me." And he goes, I didn't tell her that shit."
Does he? I thought he just like smirked and shook his head or something.
I don't think so. I remember it being like, "No, I didn't tell her that shit. I don't know how she found that out."
Um,
Maybe
yeah.
that was more foreshadowing to her evilness.
Ooh.
Is she evil or stupid? Let's find out. We'll
Let's
find
find
out
out.
soon.
Yeah. Um, I liked the pacing of the book. I liked the amount of foreshadowing and
Mm-hmm.
mentioning future events. It makes all the shit that happens not feel entirely out of place. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of random shit that happens that Viz could have died otherwise, but I wasn't really mad at any of it, just because it's like, that's not really the point. It's not a
Yeah.
survival book.
No.
Um,
I
and
loved um the fucking wolf where he's like, "I saved
yeah,
this wolf and then this wolf loves me as an adult."
oh my god. Oh my god. I need to tell you. I didn't
So
put
Mary
this in my
Sue, tell me.
review. I didn't put this in my paper, but I thought it and I wrote it down and then I deleted it because I was like, I actually don't want to say this. Now I'm going to say it. Um, the Wolf, if you remember, there's a point after he sees whatever his name is, who mass murders people in the
Mhm.
ship theater, the Naumachia.
Yeah.
There's a point after that where a house doctor comes to visit and shows him some photographs, and there's one of them that's like a moon with like people, I think, standing around it. And
Mhm.
because they were all related to like the labyrinth, more or less, and the people and the technology around it. I'm
Mhm.
scared. I'm really scared that the wolves and the moon picture are going to be related because moon. And
Mhm.
that it's going to end up being a Twilight situation where the native
Um,
people of that island protect the whatever and they turn into wolves at night or some shit.
no.
And I'm gonna scream and kick.
No, it can't be they turn to wolves at night.
They can turn into wolves
'Cause-
at will. With
uh,
will.
no, surely not.
They
Surely
make
not.
planes out of
If that
will.
happens, I'm gonna freak the fuck out, dude.
Cause,
There's no fucking way.
cause the wolves are out of place. I actually have a different thing about wolves later that is my other theory. Um,
Mhm.
but that picture of like the moon and whatever is like I don't know what this is about. Um,
Yeah.
I really hope there's
Hmm.
no native guardians of the labyrinth. That would be so bad.
God,
James,
no.
James, don't do it.
James, I want
James.
to hear your other wolf theory.
Okay, I'll scroll down to it. Let me.
Oh, we can keep going in order.
It's on page like 9.
Oh my
I
god.
can I can
And how
get to
many
it later.
pages did you write?
10.
And are these bullet points or like full?
They're bullet points, but each bullet point is like a paragraph.
Okay.
Um, I'll move on
10
to the next
pages.
one. Uh, I think that this book has interesting things to say about power and government. Obviously, that's what it's about. Um, I found that the splitting of central dictatorship into 3 separate powers very interesting, as it is a mirror to the US checks and balances system.
America.
America. I'd
And
argue
one
that
of them too big.
they kind of map like the governance is the legislative branch, military is executive, and religion would be judicial. Um,
Mhm.
but by naming the hierarchy branches something else, the actual cultural values of those different branches are laid bare. And I like that. I like those
Mhm.
choices for like the
Yeah.
USA culture values. Um,
Yeah.
and I said, especially as the kind of main plot that the second book is being set up for, where military is losing power, so they fabricate issues in order to preserve it. Um,
Mm.
and I thought the choice for religion was interesting, seeing as we haven't really seen actual religious practices. They have the
Yeah.
festivals, but they're not really like widely influential in culture. You like don't see students
Yeah,
praying to a god or anything.
exactly. He specifically says like nobody would even know which god is for what if not for the
Yeah,
festivals.
yeah. And the kids at the academy don't really seem to be held to like religious institution standards. They don't have like
Yeah.
a religion class or like
Yeah, there's
uniforms.
doesn't seem to be much morals for it either.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
and I think it makes sense if you consider like within the world of the book, since the academy itself wasn't formed under religion, they like took it
Mhm.
over. But it does feel like all the religion and the culture is based on the celebrations. And I liked that Viz tells us about his father calling it distraction more than anything else, because that is what it feels like. Um,
Yeah.
and they kind of distract the masses using the festival, and they distract the students using obviously like academy or whatever from what they're
Mhm.
actually doing on Sol Vegas. Um,
Yeah.
and that's kind of why they're running it. Um, and I liked how death was treated with impact in the book, and what
Mm.
Eden said towards the end of it with like a death is not wasted unless nothing has changed. Big fan.
Yeah.
Um, now for my
Hmm.
Calidus section.
Yes.
Yes. Calidus should have been gay and yeah, we'd out with Viz. I didn't
Okay, is
think
that
that
all?
no, I didn't think that was actually going to happen, but I did think it would be good and I wanted it to happen. There's a couple times in this book where Caldus talks about women and it's really weird and not about like Amissa. He kind of just teases Viz about that, like friendly. But I mean, like they're talking about one of the festivals, and he goes, "Oh, they have gambling and women," and it's just so. Caldus isn't like that. Caldus is so respectful to people all of the rest of the time. Like he doesn't even say anything mean about Belly, and it's just like, oh my god, what happened?
What the fuck happened? Like, are you on drugs?
The nicest guy you know came out as a gooner. I didn't like it. Um, about Belly, his crush on Belly, I feel it would have been so much better as a queer relationship because
Mm,
the Belly woman plot is that Caldus is in love with her. Caldus tries to tell her about the dangers of the is that an iron ale? Lucidium?
yeah.
Eucidium? I don't know. And she like what? Snatches his papers and ran to hold something over his head? Like why?
Yeah,
She
yeah, what the fuck? Why is that for?
she presumably liked him too, but she's just what, power hungry bitch, so she took the opportunity. I don't get it.
But if it was a man, maybe it would make a little bit more sense.
Now consider the Belly Man plot. Caldus is in love with him, and it's a big secret because gay people are illegal, as explicitly stated in the book, which
Oh,
is
that
weird, but
shit,
whatever.
yeah.
The okay, well, evil government, sure, whatever. Um, but do something with that. It has to be
Yeah.
a big secret because gay people are illegal. And then Caldus tries to warn him about the Eucidium. Now, instead of just like a my father will have your father's head if he ever does something, like wrecking the relationship for no reason, a man belly could be scared. Scared that his parents will find out he's gay, or scared that Caldus'
Uh,
advances are too obvious, so he takes the census documents for
mm,
protection. Like, and maybe that
um,
was a reasoning for his flirtation to use like the Calidus gay ass harlot for his political plots. Surely Manbelly wasn't actually interested. That's like his defense if it ever comes out.
mm,
Um and like that would absolutely break Calidus' heart. But I think it would also add a further layer of secrecy to the situation and give Belly more
yeah,
cause for action than just like potential future exploitation. I just like
yeah.
I think
And
that that's really weak.
maybe would have made Billy's death a little bit more impactful too.
Yeah.
Because I was
Um
just like,
who
we hate this
cares?
person. Who gives a
Yeah.
shit? Like, I know, like, it's horrible, but why do we
Yeah.
care?
I don't know. It's just like Calidus is like ostracized from his peers, ostracized from his families, is depicted as like a frail little guy with long hair. Okay.
He's
So
Yuri.
when is he going to be Yuri? Um
When is he gonna be gay?
and I think it
Make
would
him
have
gay.
make him gay. It would have added a layer to like how quickly his family dropped him and
Mm,
like it's just very much a queer identity story if you look at it through that lens and I think that that
yeah.
could have been
You're
interesting.
so wise.
The wiser that sees yaoi
You're the
everywhere.
wiser.
Um,
The wise.
the wiser. And that's my analysis. This is where I did some research and I
Ooh.
got a copy of the book so that I could reference things because I had to give it back to the library. Somebody else needed it. And I was like, oops.
You said
Um,
fuck.
fuck. I'm sorry. I'm trying. It's 600 pages.
I
Um,
know.
um, what is synchronism? Let's look. So, two
Tell
different
us more.
definitions. The first one is chronological synchronism. It is an event that links two chronologies. So this can be interpreted to mean sort of the bronze cage that Viz steps in before we get the
Mm.
split space. And I called it space. Um, Kara calls it a copy of Viz. As a CS major, there's such a thing as a shallow copy versus a deep copy. He is a shallow copy, basically meaning that what happens to one happens to the other at first, and then he becomes a deep copy. Um,
Mm.
since what happens in the Obitium also happens to Rez. They also, chronological synchronism is the joining of two events. So Kara says they're only linked for about 2 minutes and then they're separated. So this kind of works. I will come back to this later in a different context. Synchrony is the base word for synchronism, which is the synchrony is the occurrence or existence at the same time, and it is a Latinized form of Greek. Spitch loves Greek stuff.
Oh,
And I think that it fits much better because occurring or existing at the same time, they're like parallel copies, whatever. You get
yeah.
it. The significance of synchronism, it is mentioned like less than 10 times throughout the book, but it is absolutely going to be a main part of the sequel, given the endings.
Yeah. It
And
has to be.
what the like introductions in the like labyrinth space tell me, and there's also I'll read out to you, I have the quotes. So we get one from one of the like eyeless servants who says, I attempted to gain synchronism and remove the seal to Obitium during the rebellion of the Seventh Era after their rending. I have thus been lawfully condemned to servitude, guiding those who come after. And there's also a message somewhere else, I forget, that says, you will go through the gate to Obitium and Lucium, but not be allowed to remain here. Synchronism is reserved for leadership alone. What this tells me, history, is that something happened at Obitium that caused Rez to seal it off. And most likely the rebellion after the rending happened on Rez, since the prisoners that rebelled are still on Rez. The choice of the word rend itself is interesting. Rend is to like split or separate something by tearing it. And this could absolutely be related to synchronism as its opposite, since they're mentioned together like frequently.
Yeah.
So my thought is that there was one world ruled with will, and then the like dark will that they use, which is what I'm calling it. It's silly.
Dark.
The dark will somehow split it into 3 places, mirroring narratively the 3 governments. But could be something with that. But post rending, people could go wherever between the 3 locations.
Yeah.
Then, for some
Centaur world.
reason, yeah, Obitium was sealed off. Rez rebelled, likely unhappy with either the restriction or governmental forces at the time, and those who attempted to remove the seal, because they wanted to go to Obitium, were marked for servitude on Rez. So now traveling between the worlds is restricted to leadership alone. The
But who's the
description.
leaders?
That's a good question. The description the first time you see the dome is that there's writing above it, Lucium, Obitium, Rez, remember but do not mourn. I believe the hierarchy symbol over the dome is not newly etched because it's like the symbol of the hierarchy and then that phrase.
Yeah.
The hierarchy itself, like the government, the leaders, who are the 3 leaders of the 3 worlds, I think it's hierarchy still. They have to be pre-cataclysm or founded on the ruins of pre-cataclysm society because their marks are there.
Yeah.
And given that the hierarchy has found all their innovations rather than created any of their own, it makes sense thematically that the hierarchy is built off the labor of those ancient people rather than developing anything on their own.
I mean, we kind of also see that in Seuss, where like
yeah,
they redecorate, but almost all the infrastructure is the same because it's good.
yeah. And I think the inclusion of the hierarchy symbol on a lot of like the dome and the older structures is showing that the hierarchy, whether it was called that pre-cataclysm or not, that was the world or cultural leaders that actually
Yeah.
made the structures. So back to synchronism. A quote from Viz as he approaches the bronze circle after exiting the dome labyrinth is that herein lies the way to Lucium and Obitium. Offer to all those who would contest our extinction. Know that none who accept this task may remain. The burden of togetherness? Harmony? I choose the latter. Is reserved for the one who seals the authors of the world war from this world. Only he may exceed the Hobble's capabilities of this duplication. He and he alone may risk harmony to make the great sacrifice. Okay, Queen. Awesome, unreliable 17-year-old narrator moment here.
I was gonna say, no, I think it's togetherness whenever I
No,
like
no, it's not.
no.
Um,
You don't think so?
no, I do not. The real
Tell me more.
translation from the like advisor's introductions that we got earlier
Oh
says
shit.
that nobody who enters the circle may remain, like Keror. I assume when you get further into it, you like disappear or they kill you, like the zombie horde. Nobody who enters the circle may remain. They're gonna fucking send the horde after you.
They're gonna get you.
Yeah. The
Where you live.
they say the burden of togetherness, harmony, synchronism. The burden of synchronism is reserved for the one who writes about the cataclysm, because the whole dome, the whole labyrinth, the way to Lucium and Obitium is synchronism. That section of the book with the Lucium and Obitium final
Yes,
chapters are
yes.
labeled synchronism.
My bad. Damn.
No, you're good. They specifically choose not to call it that for a reason. It's going to be a
To
reveal,
get
but
me
that's what I'm saying.
specifically.
To get the audience, but I'm seeing all the puzzle pieces. The burden of synchronism is reserved for the one who writes about the cataclysm. And I wrote in my notes here because they say seal something or other, uh, only one man may exceed the shallow copying of the circle. They use the word duplication versus Keror's copying. And the chosen man must risk synchronism to make the great sacrifice. And we don't know what the great sacrifice is. Maybe the one man is going to be Keror and it's something Keror has already done. But most likely, given the way that these books are written, it's going to be something that Viz must do to prevent the next cataclysm. Since that seems to have been mentioned by a couple of characters and where the story is going. So,
yeah.
let me get into my favorite part of this, which is, what is Obitium? Or the seal? The main book takes place, the main book takes place in Res, our like real point of view.
World 1.
World 1, Res. Viz wakes up and fights the zombie horde to get out of the pyramid. Obitium is where Viz meets Keror, which is explicitly stated in the third ending. So Lucium must be the second. And I'd argue that we know the least about Lucium, seeing as it is mentioned less frequently than the others, and we don't know anybody there.
Yeah.
What we do know about it is that from the second ending, Viz wakes up, tries to leave. There is an inscription on the wall that blocks the way to the labyrinth. And it says, sealed against the tools of the enemy after the rending. The passage to Lucium requires a toll to ensure validity. And there's 2 circles below it. He has to like press his hands against it and it hurts or whatever. And it says, the passage to Lucium. So, based on this, we know that the Lucium was sealed after the rending as well. However, it wasn't completely sealed off like Obitium was. It just required a toll. But who was the enemy in this case that couldn't make the toll or that they were sealing against? Was there a central government in Res that was trying to take control in Lucium and Obitium? Was there rebelling enough to where they're like, fuck it, you don't get any worlds?
No worlds for you, bitch.
No worlds for you. One world party here. And as far as I can tell, Obitium seems to be kind of a made-up word. All that it comes up online for it are fucking spoilers for a book on Reddit.
Fuck.
But Lucium, you know what comes up for that? The Lyceum. Instead of the first U, it's a Y. You know the Lyceum?
Fuck. There's
It
gonna disco.
yup. Um, it's Greek. It has multiple meanings. The first one being a school, so connections to the academy. But the
What?
classical Greek description is that the Lyceum is famous for being a center of education used for numerous other activities, including Athenian assembly gatherings, cult practices, and military exercises. Bec-
Fuck. So Lyceum is for military.
mhm. It's for military and the cult.
Mm.
hmm the actual area that it was in Greece was an open space with forests and bound on the south by the river and the north by the mountain, much like
Mm.
Solvegas.
Fuck.
Um, Also, when we wake up in the Lyceum, it's white stone and columns. There is a painting of the Lyceum, it's white stone and columns.
Mm.
Um, and most notably, the Lyceum was a temple to Apollo, the wolf god. Um,
Fuck.
Iago, the Alupi are
No.
coming back. The Alupi, the wolves, guard the dome to help the chosen one make it through. There's no other way Viz would have been able to get out. I do not buy the
Oh God, no.
poor Alupi theory where he just helped a dog out and it remembered him a fucking
Or
months later.
maybe that's how they determine who the chosen one is do you
It's a
have a
trial.
kind heart? Would you
Yeah.
help us, uppy?
Would you help at Alupi?
Would
Um,
you help a loopy uppy and a loppy?
and Alupi. Um, Wolf God Shrine, and then also as a gymnasium, it could be a training ground for those who can run the labyrinth. And they say, you know, after the second ending, the people living there state that someone else from Viz's world is coming. I presume this means Keror. It can't be anyone else.
Yeah,
Um, so that's my Lucium
it's
thoughts.
Jesus.
I think that the Lucium is going to there's something there with the fucking wolf gods and the Alupi. The Alupi throw me. I don't know
You're
what
so right
else.
because they really like we don't hear anything else about like the creatures or the fauna or the flora
Yeah.
of this world other than them. So
hmm
unfortunately, it is like a dead giveaway that these are really important to the story.
yeah. Viz hasn't
Like,
noticed a single tree. He doesn't know.
but nuh-uh, those ones that got thrown at him.
yeah, I'd notice those, I think. Yeah. Um so the reasoning for the ending starting or the bonus ending starting with the big synchronism at the front is that is kind of supposed to be our anchor point. And I wouldn't entirely be surprised if the sequel had three different plots, one for each
Mm.
area. And through these,
Mm.
we maybe learn about the Anguis in Res, we learn about Keror and Ovatium, and we learn something else in Lucium. Maybe about Zeus. And then we, as the reader, can put together the bigger picture. And that would bring us right back to chronological synchronism, an event that links chronologies. The bronze circle linking our three stories.
The strength of the many.
The strength of the many. This,
What do you think
um,
about that title?
I think it's the strength of the few. The sequel?
Oh, that's right. The strength of the few. What do you think about that title?
I think there's going to be another rebellion, and Viz is going to have to either support it or go against it. And one of those choices is going to lead to another cataclysm. That would be like an overthrowing the government scenario. Um,
Mm,
and I think that because the Angwis are really getting to him, where they're like, you know, you're
I'm
still
gonna
kind of
kill
feeding
your
into the
everybody you
system.
love, bitch.
Yeah. I think that
They're being
him,
very unreasonable.
I think, huh?
I said they're being very unreasonable.
They really are. I think that I don't particularly like the way the Angries are portrayed.
No.
I think that in Strength of the Few, it's going to be like Viz and his friends uh, go up against big government and
Hmm.
fix it. I think that's going to be it. That's what they mean. Um,
Fuck.
yeah.
Viz. Do you know if it's gonna be a trilogy or is?
I don't
Do we know yet?
know. I don't know. Um,
My guess is that it would be because of how often threes are
yeah.
in this fucking piece of media, but I would be quite happy if there were only two. And like this they finished the story.
Yeah, I think we will need to see wherever he leaves it.
Yeah.
Um, I have some commentary on class and birthright, the law
Ooh.
of birthright. I think my interpretation is that Viz and Eden are kind of mirrors of each other. And my favorite example of mirrors is when my film professor made us watch Dirty Harry during our
Hmm.
film art class. And Dirty Harry is about a corrupted cop who has to chase down and apprehend a crazy criminal. It was the 70s. There was very little nuance. But it was explained to us that Harry and the criminal are kind of meant to be reflections of each other, and I find that really interesting. We are meant to see the
Mhm.
violence in Harry's actions and the violence in the criminal's actions and ask what justified one violence but not the other. Why is it okay for a cop to permanently injure someone if that someone's done violence to others? Is it moral for him to do permanent damage after violence has occurred, or can it be moral as a preemptive action? The questions that this
Mm.
book asks about Viz and Eden are kind of the same to me because they both value their honor and heritage above everything else, and they kind of lost their cultures around the same time.
Yeah.
When we meet Viz, he doesn't want to say it, but he is integrated into Cotton On culture. And he uses their
It
coin.
is
Hmm?
I have one comment.
Yes.
Sorry if I'm getting confused. You and the audiobook person pronounce things so differently. Like Eden is Iden,
Yeah.
uh Katenin,
Katenin. Okay.
Katenin. I'm not saying like these are the correct pronunciations. I was just telling you like what.
Yeah, they have a pronunciation guide at the back of the book. I didn't know that until I already read it. So,
Why would it be at the back?
uh,
I guess spoilers.
yeah. Um, so Viz uses Katenin coin, their language. He
Mhm.
works in their prisons. He keeps their people in Zappers. Eden, on the other hand, mostly refuses to use common. Partly because he doesn't know it, but partly because he refuses. He doesn't
Yeah.
socialize with anyone. He doesn't even try to make it up like a class, even though he's very much smart enough to and capable of it. Um, he's basically just biding his time with hate in his heart, and everyone knows it because he has to help his people. He's doing it for his people. And I think a key difference here is that Viz has lost his people, but like,
Mm,
has he? They are still living there on Seuss. And
yeah, but
most of them,
maybe he doesn't really connect that those are his people. I know he says he does, but because he's royalty, does he necessarily think of the people he rules over the same as he thinks of his family?
that's how
Where
Eden
like,
views them.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Um, and Viz if Viz were doing the Eden Strat, he could aim to just like get through school, land a position overlooking Seuss, and reclaim a
Mhm.
similar like horizontal position to the one he was born for.
Mhm.
Um, and I think the questions that that's kind of asking is like, when is it moral to give into the system? And is it moral to assimilate after you feel you've lost everything, or to do it preemptively? Because I feel like Viz is kind of doing it preemptively. He hasn't lost
Mm,
everything. He just kind of like obviously he's sad he lost his family, but he talks about his people a lot. They're still there, bro.
yeah, they're still there, bro.
They're still there.
Do you actually care?
Eden is just planning on fucking getting through it and becoming a king of that area and just doing what he was gonna do.
Yeah.
I love Eden. I love him. I love that he's
Me
treated
too.
with respect by the story, and
Yeah.
how the loss of his people is treated with such a weight that it shifts Viz's entire perspective. Um,
Yeah.
it's easy with like just the mass of the hierarchy to say like, oh, this place was conquered, the taking of Zeus was bloodless, whatever. But Eden like relays his story in a way that makes it clear it was horrible and good people died and good people made hard decisions, and that he was
Yeah.
very angry, but he is doing what he can to return to them and to make it be as best he can for them, even when he must be among the fucking Katanans. Um,
Yeah.
and I think that with a worse or less empathetic author, Eden could have just been a stupid fucking Braun who plays counterpart to
Yeah.
Kaladin's brains.
Hmm.
But I love that Eden is smart too. He's really smart. And his restriction is
We
the
are
fact,
also told this by
yeah.
by Viz, like they they work together well and they both are strong in each other's strong suits too, so that's pretty good.
Yeah. Um his like Eden's restriction here is the fact that the school he's attending refuses to help him learn the language they're teaching in. What the
Yeah.
fuck? Um,
Fucked
and
up.
he's not even demoted to seventh class, even though their teacher doesn't fucking like him and would use any excuse to demote him. He's
Hmm.
just like very smart and he works hard and he's such like kind of a rock for Viz at the end.
Yeah.
And I love him.
Yeah. I do think he's probably my favorite character in the whole
Yeah.
book. Either her, I mean, either him or deaf, blind woman.
Lanistia.
Yeah,
Yeah. I love her.
I like
Um
her too. I'm
my
very intrigued to be like, what went wrong that her whatever process didn't
hmm
finish? Like, she didn't get turned it fully into
Yeah,
the thingies.
she did not. They got close.
They got
Um
close, took out her eyes,
my
took her
theory,
eyes away.
they took her
Oh,
eyes
yes.
away. My theories, Karor really did die in res. The
Mm,
copies only really mirror their others for a couple minutes, so after a couple minutes, res Karor could have died while Obitium Karor was fine.
yeah,
And I think that Alcisior, his dad, is pretty much chasing a ghost, and that we have kind of been led to believe that more and more as the book goes on. And
yeah,
that Caro really did not kill himself. He was probably torn apart by the like eyeless guys that were running after Viz.
yeah,
Um, and Lanista was likely with him and was knocked out and prepared for their fucking ritual or something. Um, and Caro died trying to save her, and Viridius was the one who actually was able to get her out. And that's
yeah.
why Viridius keeps trying to find someone to run the labyrinth. He, I don't really know if I believe that military thinks they are looking for a weapon. I don't know if I believe that. Military seems often wrong. Um, and I think honestly, Viridius might just be looking into whatever weird shit is going on down there, and he needs
Yeah.
someone who can complete the gauntlet because the whole thing is set up around the gauntlet. He needs to like get someone to run it to tell him what's on the other side.
Hmm.
Um, and
And he
I
keeps
think,
trying to get Viz on like, actually be my informant. Don't be, don't be
yeah,
his informant. Be my informant.
be my informant, run my gauntlet, um, find my Lucidium. Uh,
Find my Lucidium.
I do think if there is a weapon that religion is building, that it's probably the Dark Will. Because Viz,
Mm.
I can't remember for the life of me what he does at the end of the books, but I remember it. Oh, it's something when he's like climbing the towers at the Eusidium and Amissa is like killing him or whatever. I remember he has
Hmm.
like some like dark forces where like I can sense the guys around the corner.
Oh, is that what you think the Dark Will is?
I think that could be a Dark Will thing, and I think that because
Hmm.
at that point he just finished running the gauntlet. I think
Yeah.
that that's maybe like a gift or a side effect or something. Um,
I had
and
thought it was a side effect of like still being connected to his other people.
mm,
Um, because like we kind of see that, you can get a message across, like one of them writes this message on his arm to him.
yeah,
Um, but then I'm wondering if it could be like that also for senses
mm,
to something. I have no clue, especially
yeah.
because we know so little about Lucium. It's like, what's going on there? I don't know.
What's going on there?
What's going
Um,
on there? Or maybe just straight up like going through this, even like getting out of it does gives you extra powers. Or
I have kind of a theory with it, extended theory on my running the gauntlet, kind of connecting to other worlds gives him Dark Will powers. Um, we see
mm-hmm.
Dark Will in two other characters. One of them is Melior, the guy who does the Naumachia killing, and
Yeah.
one guy that we see at the end, and we see him with Relucia, and he's like mysterious and whatever. Um, there is a phrase above the dome. It's Lucium Obtium Res, remember but do not mourn. And like I said earlier, they treat death with a lot of emphasis in this book. And
Mm-hmm.
it's an emphasis on how each character themselves treats death as well. Um, and they kind of use different language. And so
Mm-hmm.
the phrase do not mourn only comes up really one other time where he is like at Viz is at the tower and
Mm-hmm.
the um Relucia's mysterious meeting man is there. He says it. He says, "Do not mourn them," about Viz's classmates. Um,
Yeah.
and that man is wielding Melior's power, the Dark Will. Um, I believe that the connection between the Dark Will and the Dome is real. I think it's also the connection between the two main plots. Um, because the like Melior Angui's Dark Will shit is kind of one main plot, and the Dome and the Labyrinth is the other main plot. And I think that having them be like, oh, one causes the other would be
Mm-hmm.
a good way to tie them together.
Yeah.
Um, but the specifically the phrase "do not mourn" makes me think that that guy isn't from Res. I think
Yeah.
that there are people from Lucium or Obitium that are working above the Anguis, and that would make sense given the history between the three worlds that we've kind of inferred with like the Rending and Rebellion.
Yeah.
Lucium and Obitium are sick of Rez's government's shit, and they got sealed off for it. So having people from them come back, potentially under religion's power or some, I don't know, just their own shit, to destroy the hierarchy makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Um, that's about all I had. Um, I I'm gonna send you the
Send me the docs.
I'm gonna send you the link for the YouTube video for the thing that I was trying to remember. I think I told you that it was from Dune. It's not from Dune.
Oh,
Um,
oh,
it makes me think of that every time.
okay. Well, this was a wonderful discussion, and I loved talking to you about complicated books.
Yay!
But I gotta go pick up Sunday now.
Okay.
Um, but I can't wait to talk to you and Cal about breeding sweetgrass too. And